It's been a day, and what a day it's been since the historical flight of Ship 25 and Booster 9, which lifted off from the Boca Chica, Texas test site. Yet, my heart seems to still be beating erratically. Is it because I'm still excited about the flight, or do you think it's because I'm on my 5th cup of coffee? You decide. The moment will forever be ingrained in my mind and soul. Seeing your spacecraft spread its wings for the first time is hard to put into words. When Starship separated and began flying on its own, I knew SpaceX had changed the course of history. But that doesn't mean we can't deny that SpaceX's giant Starship has met another explosive end. So what happened this time around? Let's find out in today's episode of Alpha Tech. The second Starship flight was quite refined when compared to the April test. Back then, 3 Super Heavy Raptor 2 engines shut down as soon as the rocket lifted, although perhaps not due to any fault of their own. A big reason behind that failed stage separation for the April test was that blast damage to the launch pad ejected chunks of concrete and damaged several of the Super Heavy's systems. This time, the upgraded launch pad appeared to work as intended, with the booster not spewing as much dust and debris as was seen during the inaugural launch on April 20th. This time around, not a single Raptor engine shut down before the stage separation that took place a little under 3 minutes. The stage separation was as smooth as butter, with the first and second stages cleanly separating as planned. However, stage separation was the end of the journey for the Super Heavy. After the Starship's first and second stage separation, 12 out of the 13 center core engines on the Super Heavy successfully reignited. However, this was short-lived as they started to shut down once again, and at the time of the explosion, all of them had shut down. The unsuccessful center core engine reignition could have contributed to the Super Heavy's early demise as it disoriented the rocket. Based on the limited information right now, it's also possible that ground controllers intentionally destroyed the rocket after they were certain that it would be unable to perform a controlled descent. This can be due to the fuel. Fuel slosh is obviously a problem when you've got a large booster that's doing these big maneuvers that can cause the fluid to slosh around in the tanks and uncover the ports that are feeding the engines. And if gas gets into the fuel lines feeding those pumps, it can destroy the engines. This reason makes us remember the N-1 rocket's 4th flight failure. They shut down half the engines and destroyed the plumbing. The start and liftoff went well. At T plus 90 seconds, a programmed shutdown of the core propulsion system, or the 6 center engines, was performed to reduce structural stress on the booster. Because of excessive dynamic loads caused by a hydraulic shock wave when the 6 engines were shut down abruptly, lines for feeding fuel and oxidizer to the core propulsion system burst and a fire started at the boat tail of the booster. Additionally, the number 4 engine exploded. The first stage broke up starting at T plus 107 seconds and all telemetry data ceased at T plus 110. The launch escape system activated and pulled the Soyuz 7K-LOK to safety. The upper stages were ejected from the stack and crashed into the step. An investigation revealed that the abrupt shutdown of the engines led to fluctuations in the fluid columns, or of the feeder pipes, which ruptured and spilled fuel and oxidizer onto the shut down but still hot engines. A failure of the 4-engine turbopump was also suspected. It was believed that the launch could have been salvaged had ground controllers sent a manual command to jettison the first stage and begin the second stage burn early, as the stage failed only 15 seconds before it was due to separate at T plus 125 seconds, and it had reached the nominal burn time of 110 seconds according to the cyclogram. That could be the case with Booster 9, because again, we have limited information right now. So indeed, it's quite possible that ground controllers intentionally destroyed the rocket after they were certain that it was not salvageable. So let's all bid farewell to Booster 9 as we move on to the Ship 25 situation. After stage separation, the second stage Starship started to coast towards its destination. For just over the next 5 minutes, all 6 Raptor engines on Ship 25 were firing nominally, until SpaceX seemingly lost signal with the vehicle. Based on the stream, engine shutdown appeared to have occurred at T plus 8 minutes and 4 seconds, followed by a flight termination at T plus 8 minutes and 7 2007. SpaceX's John Insprucker confirmed that teams had lost signal from the second stage. He added that the flight termination system on the second stage activated later than expected, indicating that the rocket might have gone off course to trigger its self-destruction. Based on the last altitude or velocity numbers on SpaceX's webcast, Jonathan McDowell estimated Starship achieved a trajectory of -1,740 by 150 kilometers with, if not entirely destroyed by the flight termination system, impact northeast of the Turks and Caicos Islands. The issue with the presumed Starship detonation appears to be something with a possible oxygen dump. We noticed the liquid oxygen bar started dropping slightly faster right when the second stage appeared to start losing some sort of gas, which must have led to the second stage failure. Now, with the second test out of the way, the SpaceX team should now be looking towards the third test flight. The launch pad and the water deluge system were major reasons for the delay to today's test flight. While SpaceX had to make several upgrades to Starship, particularly the Raptor engine, the FAA approved these rather quickly through the Starship IFT-1 mishap investigation. However, the site's water deluge and detonation systems proved to be the primary delaying factors. SpaceX launched as soon as it could after it received clearance from the FAA and the Fish and Wildlife Service, or the FWS for short, earlier this week. After today's launch, teams will have to turn their focus on the Super Heavy booster to make changes that ensure that it does not explode after stage separation in future flights. The Starship IFT-2, which saw the second stage soar to 148 kilometers according to real-time telemetry provided with the livestream, was also the second time SpaceX flight tested its Super Heavy booster. The booster is quite complex, particularly its 33 Raptor 2 engines, which must work in unison to ensure a successful flight. Today's test also marks the second time that the flight termination system on the Starship has proven to be tricky. The system failed on the Super Heavy during the April test flight, and this system will be a key feature that SpaceX has to work on before it can secure clearance for the third Starship test flight. Flight termination is a non-negotiable system on any rocket since it allows ground teams to destroy the rocket during the risky portions of its journey. Though not a picture-perfect mission, this test serves as a reminder of the complexities inherent in rocket engineering, particularly for a vehicle like Starship, which is designed to be the most powerful and versatile launch system ever created. SpaceX's vision for Starship includes launching cargo and crew to Earth orbit, the Moon, and potentially other destinations, with the goal of making space travel more affordable through rapid reusability. Failures are not uncommon in the arena of space exploration, in which risks and challenges are part of the journey. NASA, having contracted SpaceX to use Starship's upper stage as a human landing system for the Artemis program, will be closely examining the outcomes of this test. The focus now shifts to the analysis of this test's data, which will be crucial for diagnosing the failures and guiding the necessary modifications. SpaceX's iterative approach to design and testing is expected to play a key role. The company will likely schedule a third test flight with parameters to be determined after a thorough review of this mission's results. The next step is to nail stage separation, but other future milestones include a launch to orbit, re-entry from orbit, and vertical landings of both the booster and the upper stage. Well, folks, that's about it for today's episode. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we hope you enjoyed it and learned something new. Please let us know your thoughts in the comment section down below because your feedback is very important to us and helps us make better videos for you. So for that, once again, we thank you so much and we hope to see you again next time.